What's going on, everybody? EnteR ChazmaN here, back with a very different video on the channel if you haven't seen recently. I know it's been a hot minute since I've gotten to do any raw and real movie impressions or movie review type movie chat videos with you guys. And lo and behold, I definitely wanted to make my comeback video for something like that, to be something like what you're seeing up on screen, and that would happen to be 28 years later. If you don't know my personal history here on the channel with this series, I am a huge fan of 28 Days Later, the original 2002 Cillian Murphy movie. I could be wrong. I'm already wanting to... Oh yeah, Danny Boyle did direct that one and also is directing this one. But yeah, just 28 Days Later. I won't go terribly long on it. One of my favorite horror movies ever. It's something that I watch every year during like spooky season. Once October starts coming around, start getting near my birthday and near Halloween time, and in the mood for a classic 28 Days Later. All-time great movie. Love the premise. Love the acting. The idea of turning a zombie outbreak into a virus spread by spread by chimpanzees and turning people into like rabies infested rabid animals. Love it. All the actors were incredible. Mad Eye Moody was in there from Harry Potter. Cillian Murphy killed it. Incredible movie. What amazing. Don't need to go terribly long on it. Go check out my video for that one if you want to hear my thoughts on that movie. But yeah, next up, going straight into 28 Weeks Later. I remember not being as loving on that movie. I remember it being pretty good. I like it. Don't love it as much as 28 Days Later. 28 Weeks Later, still a solid view. Very simple movie. There's not really a heck of a whole lot to it, in my opinion, versus, say, this one, 28 Years, or 28 Days. Still a fine watch. I would recommend it if you like the series in general. And then, literally, like, I'd say like 2 hours ago, I just watched this movie. Took my mom... Nice little mom and son little good time. My mom loves these kind of movies, so this is always something, you know, guaranteed that she's gonna love and flip out over. But yes, so I guess I'll say it right off the bat. If you don't know, mild spoilers here. I'm gonna try and not spoil you guys on anything that happens in the climax or major, but there will be some mild spoilers here where I would like to at least touch on a couple little things. Try and keep this short and sweet for you. But yeah, overall, what were my thoughts on 28 Years Later? Was this is this in general just like a worthy is it worthy, and does it live up to 28 Days Later, or is it better or worse than 28 Weeks Later? I will say right off the bat, my first impressions, my mom had almost the same exact thoughts. Coming out of this movie, and even right now, I am incredibly mixed on this movie. It took me a little bit coming out of the theater for me to even like decide if I liked it or not. They'll stick with me. I'm gonna tell you why I did eventually. I do think I like this movie. As opposed to 2 and definitely 1, in my opinion, my feelings are so mixed here. 1, in my opinion, was a great story that tried to tell just of, you know, post-apocalypse, how low and how far can humanity actually go when it has no hope. No, in a post-apocalyptic world, you know, like what are the effects of just desperation that just for people in general, and tells a great story of just people persevering through the absolute worst of worst and showing the absolute worst of worst that humanity can offer, basically. 2, in my opinion, much simpler story. It strictly is just people surviving in a big city full of zombies, or I don't know, I just thought about it. What do they even call the zombie? I mean, I guess technically in this movie, somebody did utter the word zombies, so I guess we could say they are zombies. I think they're more animal-like in features, but yes, this one, it did have, as opposed to 2, and similar to 1, this one did have a fantastic theme, I felt like. Now, the flow of the movie is all over the place in my opinion, but the theme overall is very much I guess it's similar to the first one, where it does heavily rely on ideas of like hope, having something to latch on to, trying to not lose the people that you love, and things of the sort. And while I appreciate some of those things, especially towards the latter end of the movie, again, I don't want to spoil things. This is the first movie that I've seen in a hot minute that has actually made me cry. Luckily, my mom got up to go to the bathroom during the scene that made me tear up, and I was in my seat like it was pretty heavy. So again, this movie does have strong themes of family stuff of the sort, things that you might expect. But where it gets all over the place, in my opinion, is I would say maybe the first quarter to 40% of the movie stays on a. I take it back. It's not necessarily the theme that gets off. It's more the gosh, how do I word this? It's not necessarily the theme, but it's more the, gosh, I don't want to throw the word vibes out there, but the vibes kind of get all over the place. I'll just say the movie gets downright wacky in portions, which in my opinion is not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily suit this universe to an extent. In my opinion, 1 and 2 were, while obviously ridiculous, it's a zombie apocalypse, but like those movies to an extent were pretty grounded, in my opinion. And Danny Boyle, whatever, he must have been on something, because this movie is not grounded whatsoever. He tries to do some crazy stuff, and not all of it necessarily lands. I guess, again, mild spoilers, but I won't spoil the major things that happen. But this movie heavily changes the lore and physiology of the zombies as opposed to the first 2 movies. The first 2 movies, these are just rage infested humans. That's all there is. There's no like levels to them. There's no hierarchy. It's all just one zombo. And then when you get to this movie, man, they decide to introduce, like, there are like multiple different zombie types. I'm talking like there's like these fat sluggish ones that don't have limbs, that just like crawl around, and they have like there's like a family of them at one point, and you're like, are they like operating like normal kind of out in the wild? There's also these things called was it primals? Not primals. Oh gosh, I'm forgetting the word. There was a word that they were using to indicate a like leader of the pack type thing. Was it oh gosh, I can't think of the word. It's not primal. It's I'm not gonna try. But there's like these specific zombos that are like heavily, they're like on steroids or something, and they have like all sorts of crazy abilities and stuff. Like one is darn right running on water. Other ones are just straight up grabbing people's heads and pulling their skeleton or their spinal cords through the top of the heads, and some of them are taking like 12 shots to go down, and it's something. And then you have your normal ones, and it's just like, again, not necessarily something that was ever in some of the previous movies. So they do some interesting stuff here. Touching on the story, I guess, like, another big surprising thing is the person you think is the main character really doesn't play. He plays a big part, but he's not in the movie. Aaron Taylor? Was it Aaron Taylor something, I think? Aaron Taylor Johnson, yeah. The guy you think is going to be the hero. He's really only in 30 to 40% of the movie. And he's great in all of the scenes he's in, but it's like, the movie mainly focuses on this mother character and the son character. The son being like the primary character. So it sucks because all of the scenes with the father and son, you know what I'll say, this movie gave me heavy Last Last of Us 1 vibes. I was getting, oh, I forgot the word when I was thinking earlier. Vibes, tone. That's the word I was looking for. The tone of this movie is all over the place. Especially once you get to the end. When you get to the end, the last quarter, there's parts that I love, and there's parts that are like downright wacky. When they introduce the weird new lore and physiology of the zombos, there's also, oh, now that I'm on that track, they're also introduce a pregnant zombo that like gives birth midway through the movie, and there's like a humanoid or a human child that is unaffected by the virus from that zombie, and that just throws that dude. Whoever was responsible for the writing, I'm guessing Danny Boyle or whomever he had so many new ideas, and some of them fit in the world and lore. But yeah, so back to Aaron Taylor, and then Spike was the name of the son. The movie mainly revolves around the son and the mother character, and then there's also this Dr. Ralph, Dr. Kelson. Ralph is the name of the actor. Essentially Voldemort. Voldemort's in this movie. But again, really enjoyed the movie. Tone is all over the place. The tone stays on track for the first like quarter of the movie, then begins to kind of fall all over the place. It does some things that it doesn't do some things that I was really hoping it kind of would. And gosh, I'm wanting to delve into that, but that would be more back into spoiler talk. I guess another thing I'll touch on is there is a quick scene where everyone thinks that they... to me, it looks obvious that it was a zombified Cillian Murphy. Cillian Murphy, whatever you want to call it. I've heard, from what I understand, Danny Boyle and Cillian have said that Cillian is going to be in a movie. So if he's going to be in a movie, I would guess that would mean that wasn't Cillian. But it looked exactly like Cillian. I don't know. I don't understand. Gosh, there's so now that I think there's so many scenes that like really stick out. Like it really was a memorable movie. There was a lot happened, but it just doesn't flow all that well. Like I really think this is going to end up being a very divisive movie in terms of horror in general, and maybe for people that are fans of the 28 time frame series, whatever. Because this is in my opinion, it's definitely better than 2, but it's not as good as 1. 1 is still easily the champ to me. Boy, it's so hard to really say, because this one is, as opposed to 2, I will say this one is wholly unique. It goes out of its way to try and do some crazy stuff. Again, not all of it lands, but I don't know. I don't know. I ended up kind of walking away feeling like super appreciative of what did I say game earlier? I meant movie. Of what the movie was trying to do. I guess one thing I was kind of hoping is I was also hoping that this was going to be the end of the trilogy. And then, as you may not expect, I won't say how, but this movie has a cliffhanger ending that is very abrupt and sudden. Like, about as abrupt as you can get. It's like, wow, oh, the movie's over right there. And while it is interesting, I'm like actually excited to see the next one because of what it possibly leads up to. It still isn't wholly satisfying for this movie, in my opinion, in terms of an ending. So, I don't know, I'm going to be fascinated to kind of look around and see what other people are kind of gauging and judging from this movie. Again, far more emotional than I thought. Like, I honestly will say this is by far the least, I don't want to say least scary, because it has a couple parts, but it almost isn't a horror movie, in my opinion. Like, it feels more like a very Last of Us type story with like some, where it's like it's more of an action game with horror elements, end is more meant for some of the heartfelt moments between who's it? Spike is the kid and his dad, Jamie. What's the mom's? Isla. So overall, I don't know. I don't want to keep going on. I don't. I don't want to spoil like entirely everything. There's so much here for a fan of the 28 time frame series, whatever you want to call it, and I, I, I feel like this fits in okay in the lore, but it doesn't. I don't know. I know I'm so wishy-washy and I'm very fence-sitting on this movie. I definitely think I liked it more than two. Would I recommend this one? I think I recommend it. I'm almost in the same boat as two though, where I would definitely recommend it if you're just a fan of the series, of the first movie in general. Um, I liked it slightly more than two, so I don't know. I feel like I'm I'm saying the same thing. Um, but yeah, I don't know. That's all I really got. I would love to know what I kind of after this. I'm gonna go watch some videos and see what other people are saying about this movie, because I wonder if am I like, because I could have sworn I had seen reviews and reviews were fairly positive, and I even told my mom like I read the positive reviews are positive, and then at the end she was like, "Are you sure they were positive?" I'm like, "The couple I saw were." So now I'm like curious, like did I only see a couple and everyone else is like very lukewarm on the movie versus me? Because I found myself enjoying it, but again, it has some weird directions and weird the plot where it goes is just overall odd. Oh, and I just something on the clip that reminded me. It it feels like it almost deviates from the ending of two. If you guys don't remember, at the end of two, um, it feels like the little girl and their helicopter crashes, and it feels like the outbreak is kind of breaking out from the city in that movie. And I remember thinking, oh, okay, so that means things are going to spread and get worse. Well, in this movie, there are some military folk who land, because this whole movie kind of takes place on like an island, which the island aspect really is cool, and the way they integrate it into just how the movie works and how and the lore is like really awesome. But essentially, oh, you can see them on screen right now, but like those military folk, they land on this island just for no reason, that basically, and these guys have like, they're fully equipped, modern weapons, cell phones, the whole nine yards. They are, you know, strapped to the teeth, and only one of them survives and talks to some of our characters in the movie, and they say that like the world outside is normal and is actually like almost fought off the virus very very well. And it's like okay, so they're kind of retconning the second one, it feels like a little bit. Again, not saying that's an entire problem. I know a lot of people didn't love the second one, but it's like what I'm getting at is this an ending to a trilogy? Because it's obviously not with the ending. It's got a cliffhanger ending, so there's obviously going to be 28 decades later, you know, or 28 generations later, 28 millennia later. So it's like I don't know what anything means. So are they retconning two and they're acting as if this is the second one and then the next one is the finale of the trilogy, or are they just retconning one and two completely and they're branching off on their own trilogy with this one? So there's two more. I got no idea. But yeah, essentially the world outside of this island is normal, and this island is the only place left that is affected by the zombo virus. I don't know. I didn't quite get what they were going for, and then so many different elements. The finale with the parents, the there's just all the weird lore changes, the new so there's a new baby character that I said mentioned was born from infected who is not infected, so it's like, how are they going to integrate that? And then again, non-spoilers, but there is characters that are introduced at a point in the movie that are just almost cartoonish, in their entry and their arrival, and it's again, it's another like, it's very odd. This movie, again, I said the word grounded earlier. This one is the by far and away the least grounded one out of the three. This one tries and does some stuff that's like, honestly, the characters introduced almost feel like they almost feel like Metal Gear Solid villains. You know what I mean? They're that kooky and cartoonish, and you know, whoever they are, they play a large role in the next one. So it's like, I don't know, man. The end of this movie had me like. The end of this movie was a roller coaster. I went from 1 minute bawling and tears coming down my face because of how sad it was, a scene, and the next thing I'm like, wait, that's how the movie's ending? It's like, it's all, again, crazy. It's crazy because, I don't know, the closest thing I could think of was like, this movie reminded me of The Last of Us. It reminded me of The Last of Us, but in parts versus The Last of Us. This is like, it's done well in some places and not so much in other. So I don't know. Once again, guys, that's all I got. I just wanted to kind of ramble and rant about this movie for just a minute. I enjoyed it. I don't know, I didn't love it like I did one. It was and if nothing else, it's a super interesting movie. Simply because of some of the directions and the decisions with what they're doing here. So yeah, I feel like I recommend it, but I will say this could be one where if you're not totally sold, you know, it might be worth it to wait until it comes to digital, or you can get it on a physical media of some sort. Yeah, I want to say it, you know, I'll stick to that. I don't think you need to go out and watch this in theaters right now, but it definitely is worth a watch at some point. If nothing else, just to see how crazy and wacky this movie is, because it does some stuff that's like, what? And then it does some stuff that's like, yeah, what? You know, I don't know. You get both ends of the spectrum here. So, all right, everyone. That's all I got to say about 28 years later. You know, what do you guys think about this series in general? Have you seen 28 years later? What are your thoughts on that? I'd love to know down in the comments. Do all that, like, share and subscribe, all that good stuff. We got the Discord, we got the Patreon, we got everything here. So, I'm kidding. All right, everyone. Keep it spooky, and go check out 28 Days Later if you have somehow not seen that movie. That is, it's a legendary movie in my opinion. So, all right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I love you. Bye, everyone.